Right, here's another episode of Dakara Discusses. In this episode, I'm going to discuss The Walking Dead because I figured most of you are probably here from my reactions for The Walking Dead, so seems fitting, I guess. Let's get into it. So for those that don't know, I'm sure it's a very small percentage of you, I'll read a very brief description about the show, just to give you an idea. According to Wikipedia, The Walking Dead is an American horror drama television series developed by Frank Darabont based on the comic book series of the same name by Robert Kirkman. Andrew Lincoln plays the show's lead character, Sheriff's Deputy Rick Grimes, who awakens from a coma discovering a world overrun by zombies. Dun dun dun. Grimes reunites with his family and becomes the leader of a group he forms with other survivors. Together they struggle to survive and adapt in a post-apocalyptic world filled with walkers and opposing groups of survivors, who are often more dangerous than the walkers themselves. Much of the series takes place in and around Atlanta, Georgia and Alexandria, Virginia. So there we have it. A very brief description about The Walking Dead. What do I like about the show? Obviously, I am obsessed with this show. I think it's one of the best TV series we have to date. So the first thing I like about the show is the relationships. The relationships to me are the most important part of the show because without that sort of connection that the audience has to the characters, I feel like it's kind of empty in that sense. There was an instant need to protect these characters. I mean, when you just look at Carol from season 1 when she was in the abusive relationship, I just wanted her out of that relationship instantly. There was Rick and his need to find Laurie and Carl, and you're rooting for these characters from the get-go, and I think that's really, really brilliant. Yeah, I just think they really excuse me. Oh dear. It just seems to work, and there's a really strong family unit within the group, and it's just, yeah, it's brilliant. I love that about the show. My second favourite thing about the show is just the story, really. I mean, I've mentioned it before, but I have spent an unhealthy amount of time considering what I would do in the event of a zombie apocalypse, and just the thought of that and the fact that that is something that I spend time doing, it's pretty obvious that the story is a good one. As I mentioned in my Fear, Dakara Discusses video, I feel like we need to know more about the root of the apocalypse and the scientific side of things. That'd be great, you know, if we got there eventually. Okay, so my third favourite thing about the show is probably the Walker creativity, because it is next level. Greg Nicotero is an absolute legend when it comes to creating these amazing walkers. From Winslow to the Barnacle Walker to the Well Walker. The list goes on and on. It's just absolutely incredible. They never cease to amaze me with how creative they can be with the walkers. My favourite characters, obviously I love most of them. I say this pretty much every episode, but it's so true. It is a hard decision to make, but my favourite characters are as follows. Numero uno has to be Michonne. I think her introduction to the show was just really needed, I feel like, and I remember her not talking at the very beginning, yet I was just captivated by her anyway. Even though she didn't speak, there was just an aura about her, and I love her even more now that she does have actual dialogue and she has grown so much as a character. And she owns that sword, let's be real. Plus she sticks to what she believes in, and she does it in a really respectful way. She's not rude about it. She just stands by what she thinks is right. I think that's the best way I can describe it right now. I'm not doing the best job. Number 2 will be no surprise to you guys. It's gotta be Carol, because where do I begin? Her character progression has just been absolutely fantastic, because she went from a timid housewife to just a badass survivor. She saved people, she's sort of hindered people. I was talking to Neff on my last video about this. She's had it really hard. She's been tortured pretty much from start to finish, and even though she's been through all of these traumas, she's still going, and even though she's had her dips, very low dips, she has come back up. I mean, just to name a few, we have the abusive relationship at the start. She got through that. Losing her daughter, her one and only daughter, Sophia, managed to get through that. She burnt those bodies when the outbreak happened, you know, when everyone got sick in the prison, and she burnt the 2 bodies. That was brutal, and she felt she did what she needed to help the majority of people, even though it was a risk, because if someone found out, which obviously they did in the end, she could have been and did get sort of abandoned and pushed out of the group. She's also had the struggles of the children within the show. I mean, losing a daughter was bad enough, and then she had Mika and what was the other girl's name? Lizzie. She went through that ordeal with the shooting and killing of them. Just look at the flowers, please. And then she went through, what was the other lad's name now? I'm drawing a blank when it comes to names today. I want to say Sam. The one when he really likes the cookies and she was sort of threatening him. Her struggle is she's trying to learn from her mistakes. So with everything that happened with Mika and Lizzie, she was trying to do the opposite, and she's not had much luck when it comes to children on this show at all. And my third favourite character is, it's gotta be Maggie Green, or Maggie Ree, should I say. I stand corrected. And the reason that I love her is because she's been, like Carol's been through a lot as well. She has had it rough. I mean, she has lost so many people. She's pretty much left with nothing other than the new family that she created while she's been there. Yet she remains strong, and again, quoting from what Neff said in my comments in my last video, there is a slow progression to leadership that Maggie has, and she's absolutely killing the game. She really is, and I think she can be a true leader and a true warrior. I have no doubt about that. I mean, to lose your husband and all of your family, yet remain really strong and determined to succeed is, you know, what an inspiration she is. Okay, so my best moments. Always my favourite part of the video is my best moments. So, number one, I think it would have to be Hal getting shot when he was looking at the deer. It was supposed to be the deer that got shot, he got shot instead. And the reason that this is my favourite moment is not because the child was suffering an immense amount of pain and nearly died, just sidetrack that, but it's the fact that we were introduced to the Green family. And I think that their introduction, again, like Michonne, is one of the best addition to the show that we've had. Even though there's only Maggie left, which is heartbreaking, to say the least. There was Herschel, his wife, Beth and Maggie, and wasn't there a niece and nephew or something like that as well? That was the guy that Shane killed, was it? Anyway, there was a lot of them on the farm, and only Maggie survives right now. I just love that family so much, guys. I just love them so much. Sobs. At number two, I'm gonna say, it's a hard one, but I think I'm gonna go with Michonne and the governor fight, where, you know, where she slides the sword through the governor's daughter's head. Yeah, that was hard to watch, but it was really good. It was a close fight as well. That's the reason why I just couldn't believe that that girl on the junkyard people in the last season, how it was so well matched. I mean, she killed the governor. I didn't realise that the junkyard people were that trained in fighting, but I guess we don't know that much about them yet. And my last favourite moment, well, not my last, but my third one, has to be when Carol saved the day at Terminus. I remember watching that, and I remember thinking, these people are just putting a lot of trust into this Terminus place, and they know nothing about it. What is, like, how can they have so much faith in this? And then it all went, pardon the phrase, but it all went tits up, didn't it? There was cannibalism, there was like just slaughtering, like with the troughs. Oh my gosh, that was horrific. Carol saving the day with a big bazooka, just blowing the place up, going in there and just killing everyone. She made it look easy. She made it look good. She really did. And that fight with the mother in Terminus as well was top notch. So glad she came and turned up that time. And it was just a nice way to reunite the group, obviously, because after burning the bodies, there was that whole like, oh, awkward time. But that just brought everyone together, and it was like, what's done is done. We forgive you for burning our own. I'm going to try something new here on this one, and I'm going to do my top 3 saddest moments, just because it's been so emotional, this show. I've got to get it off my chest. So my top saddest moment has to be the death of Glenn and Abraham. It's a no-brainer. And sadly for those guys, that is too relatable. Two Spoon? That episode so bad. I mean, it was good and all of that, well shot, well acted, blah blah blah, but oh my god, that was emotional. Number 2 is saying goodbye to Beth Green. Beth's death was, it was so sad. It was really sad. And I think, I'm sure I've probably mentioned this before, but seeing Maggie and Daryl's reaction to Beth's death hit me harder than the death itself. Beth was just one of those characters that, I mean, she was so young. She was so young and she was in her head a lot, and she had a lot of struggles with facing the fact that this was the new world that they had to live in. There was her struggle with suicide. There was losing her boyfriend and partner, which she just kind of blocked out for a short time. There was losing her father, R.I.P. Herschel. Getting taken as well and put in that hospital and having the mental and physical torture of that. The chance of reuniting with the group, and then it was just ripped away from her, and it was just so sad. Number 3, without a shadow of a doubt, has to be Herschel's death. That scene just ripped my heart out, all the torture. And Johnny at Skybound, I'm still side-eyeing you over that video. I'm just saying, so upsetting, guys. It was so sad. So that's all I've got to say for the Walking Dead Dakara Discusses episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a cheeky thumbs up, much appreciated. And subscribe, you know, if you want to. There's no pressure here. And yeah, I shall see you again next week for another video. Fear the Walking Dead returns soon. Alicia, Devon and Carrie will soon be on my screen again. Whoop whoop. Okay guys, leave a comment, let me know your favourite parts of the show, favourite characters, and you know, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts. Hope you all have a lovely week, and I shall speak to you all soon. Bye!